Riding for me started a long time ago, but I was actually a little bit of a late starter. My first pony came to me as a Santa Claus pony, and it was a Christmas Day pony. He was also, in a prior life, used to pull Santa's sleigh or Santa's sulky to Christmas parties. He was super duper quiet. His name was Trigger, and I was just 12 years of age. But today, a lot of the 12-year-old kids out there, they're amazing riders. But at 12 years of age, holy smoke. That was a long time ago, but I was really bad. One of the people that has really influenced me has been my dad. He was always a guy outside the square thinking. He always encouraged us to, be imaginative and not to be frightened of being different. And I think that is something that I've taken on board lots, especially when you're pursuing techniques that give you an advantage. You definitely have to be other than a lemming. You can't just go down well-worn paths or well-lit up pathways. And some of those pathways out there, lit up only by your own imagination, do represent ideas that are slightly superior, sometimes hugely superior, but usually if you're slightly superior, then you've done very well. So my dad was really instrumental in sort of getting me to think like that. I think, and of course my mum, she always believed in me no matter what. My mum's to blame for lots and lots of things I do. But, and then of course Rozzie's always been an amazing support, and that's been really important. I think all riders that have a great story to tell, they always have somebody who relentlessly supports them, and I guess the thing about Rozzie is that she's always realistic and concerned about being realistic, and of course that's really important. So I think my family right immediately around me has been the most important influence. Regardez Moi was born in Germany out of an Australian owned mare owned by Dr. Margaret Evans. And as a foal, he was a blinder. We always thought that we would bring him out. Now, as a 2.5-year-old, he left Germany and went to England. And there he stayed with Matt, my younger brother. And he grew up for a year there. And he also was broken in by Matt. And then from there, he came from England to Australia. And I've had him ever since. Now, Regardez Moi is a 15-year-old right now, so I've been with him some 12 years, and he's a beautiful character. There's lots of things that go into making the Regardez Moi story what it is today. Both the Australian Grand Prix Championships were won whilst I was riding Regardez Moi. He had sort of for the last 8 years, he's partnered a little girl called Brianna Teletsky. Brianna was a little girl. She now works for us. She's been working for us for 8 years now. But since she was 12, Brianna would ride Regardez Moi out for an hour. And he loves that. It's a bit like Puff the Magic Dragon. And I'm always terrified that, the little girl grows up and sort of wrecks this most amazing story. But that's a really important aspect to Regardez Moi. It's very much a part of his life that he goes off walking down through the mares, down the lanes, inspecting the whole farm with Brie. And that happens even Christmas morning. That's a never-fail routine or ritual. And I guess one day Brie will either grow up and leave the equation, or Regardez Moi will grow old. Somewhere along the line it's got a sad ending, but at the moment it's still very beautiful. Yeah, with Regardez Moi before a big competition, it is important to have him really fit. The other thing is I will work the tests quite a lot before the actual competition, and and I will put both himself and him and myself under pressure. I like to work just before the competition, the final week, at pretty high pressure going in, and that means that when we get to the competition I can back up a little bit. The competition all on its own provides quite a lot of pressure, like lots of pressure, because of course I'm going to go for a win. I'm always trying to win, and that means you're under a lot of pressure. Now both you and the horse need to be preconditioned up so it's not a shock to the system. The flip side to that is if you put too much pressure on yourself leading up to a competition, you burn and the horse loses confidence. So it's a very tricky little equation, getting yourself prepped so that you can go into a competition, withstand the pressure and provide a test or produce a test that represents your best shot. There's a lot of thought and a lot of preparation goes into that. The partnership between Ricardo Moir and I has been a real serious learning curve for me, because he's very, very sensitive. He's an artiste, and so I've had to learn a lot to ride Ricardo Moir, and he certainly wouldn't like meat pies if he was a guy. So I'd call him quirky.